Is Jesus Christ an alien? No, I mean it literally. Literally this. I'm serious. Is Jesus Christ an extraterrestrial from another planet? I'm hoping there's going to be lots of single word answers in the comments below. This genuinely, I believe, is a problem for contemporary Orthodox Christianity. So are you a Christian? I know that's not my regular viewership, but are you a Christian? Are you an Orthodox Christian? You need an answer to this question. Is Jesus an alien? I'm going to, I hope, show that you have to admit the answer is yes, if your Orthodox Christian position is maintained. If you're not a Christian, perhaps if you're a regular viewer of mine and wondering why I'm making such a weird video, I promise you this is interesting. This has metaphysical implications for all of us, and I will relate this to mythology at some point in the video. If you're new here, I'm a storyteller. I normally make videos about folklore and mythology, but sometimes left field metaphysical topics like this one. So, is Jesus Christ an alien? What do I mean by this? Okay, what I don't mean, this isn't some version of ancient astronaut theory. I'm not suggesting that actual physical extraterrestrials visited Earth at points in human history, perhaps starting biological life on Earth and helping us build the pyramids and landing at Stonehenge and stuff like that. I'm not suggesting that a flying saucer sort of hovered over Roman Palestine 2,000 years ago and beamed down an entity that assumed the form of the local life forms, or maybe artificially inseminated a local Jewish woman, and the resulting child was part human, part alien, and with his superior technology could change the molecular structure of water into wine, could multiply bread and fishes and it's past midday. Maybe you could use anti-gravity technology to walk on water, could reverse the death process of a man called Lazarus, and then got sucked off into his spaceship and flew away, promising to return with more spaceships at some future date. But his message got corrupted by a foul elite. I'm not saying that. Well, maybe the last bit. But I do mean this literally. Is Jesus Christ an alien? And your answer, I would say, probably has to be yes, or you have to let go of your Orthodox Christian position. This is actually a very modern form of a very old problem in Christian theology, and Christian apologists have been wrestling with this notion for many centuries, maybe not the alien part. Christian apologetics, by the way, for any non-Christians out there, is sort of, oh, I'm sorry your house got blown up, but Jesus still loves you. It's wrestling with perceived theological problems, logical problems inherent in Christian metaphysics, such as, for example, the problem of evil or suffering. If God is wholly good and wholly powerful, omnipotent, how and why is there suffering and pain in the world? It's a big theological question. The answer usually given by Christian apologetics is some version of because free will. So that's an example of Christian apologetics. Another problem for Christian apologetics, and I've been bumping up against this one for a very long time. If Jesus, and this is the Orthodox Christian view, slightly different for non-Orthodox Christians, but Orthodox Christians believe that Jesus Christ, the historical personage of Jesus Christ, is the only way to salvation. It's one of the main tenets of sort of traditional Christianity, along with the Holy Trinity and original sin. No one comes to the Father except through me, said Jesus, apparently. So that is one of the main tenets of Christianity. I'll say now, there are sort of more pluralist and inclusivist Christians out there. There's mystical Christians that maybe don't hold this. Maybe Jesus is just one way among many. Respect to those Christians, I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to the Orthodox Christians that believe Jesus is the only way. If you believe that, you have a problem, a theological problem that you need an answer to. The traditional version of it is this: what about all the people that died before Jesus, or all the people who have never heard of Jesus, maybe a lost tribe in the Amazon? Is it fair for them to suffer eternal infinite suffering in eternal damnation, to be locked out of heaven, Zion gates closed, through no fault of their own. They've just been born outside the pale of the good news of Jesus Christ. So just like all those that died before Jesus was even born, or have never heard of Jesus Christ, what about intelligent life elsewhere in the universe? What is their mechanism for salvation? Is Jesus Christ the salvific principle for the entire cosmos, for all life? In which case, to any intelligent civilization, Jesus is an alien. It's a bit like this sort of farcical situation I just kind of presented. You know, Jesus appearing like this to a kind of, jellyfish entities living on a gaseous planet in the Andromeda system. If a bipedal life form appears to the jellyfish priest in a vision, that would be very, very strange, wouldn't it? Surely Jesus isn't an alien, but that is one of the options you have to possibly accept if Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation for the entire cosmos. There's a few other options, as I'm sure you will have realised by now. We don't have to go the alien route. It's just sort of the most fun and is the best clickbait. So sorry if you feel tricked. I don't actually think Jesus Christ is an alien. But if you're an Orthodox Christian, you have to, I would say, admit one of these four possibilities. Either A, we are alone in the universe. We're alone in the universe, which is terrifying, I think, isn't it? This whole cosmos, and we're the only intelligent life in it. But it's possible. Or option two. Option two, there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe, but according to Christian doctrine, they haven't fallen. They're perfect. This is an argument C.S. Lewis made to exactly this theological problem. Alien life has not fallen and do not require salvation. So they're, in that sense, a bit like angels. Third option is there is intelligent life in the universe, and Jesus is also their salvation. So Jesus is sort of an alien to them, relatively speaking. So option three, Jesus is an alien. Jesus is the salvation of other intelligent life as well. Option four, the Jesus or Christ principle, let's call it the Logos, the divine Logos, the Word in Christian theology, incarnates itself in whatever culturally or biologically appropriate form across the universe. So the jellyfish people have their own Messiah, their own Jesus, and it follows the same model. There's a kind of jellyfish thing that is born of a virgin, and he's betrayed by the other jellyfish priests and executed in a jellyfish electrocuting machine, and his pure death takes away the sin of all the other jellyfish beings on planet Gazarbaka 12. That's an option. I'm being a little bit facetious, but you see what I'm saying with that. If it's that option, though, that somewhat undermines the uniqueness of Christianity. It undermines the Orthodox Christian view, because it's no longer Jesus. It's no longer the physical person of Jesus with his mandolin. It's then something else. It's become universal. And that's a kind of pluralist Christianity that I think I can get behind. There's other comparisons to other religious expressions there, isn't there? Hinduism would probably be the classical sort of model for God or spirit or divine intelligence or whatever kind of metaphysical word you want to use, manifesting at various points in human history and culture. The great god Vishnu, for example, having a multiplicity of avatars throughout history, a boar, a fish, as Krishna, the charioteer of Arjuna, who's suddenly on the battlefield in the Mahabharata, reveals his cosmic form as the source of all reality itself. Here is a fun fact. Christianity actually failed to make much headway in India with missionaries during the colonial period, because the missionaries would present Jesus and the Indians would just pop him up on the shelf next to Krishna. They saw Jesus being just a Western expression of the god Krishna, saw many of the same Christ-like qualities in the two. So just another avatar of Vishnu. And it doesn't always need to be God either. It doesn't need to be a personal deity. It could be something impersonal, like later Vedantic philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, the non-dual philosophy of Hinduism, proposed by Adi Shankara. You know, there is Brahman, there is the universal divine principle, the ultimate reality that manifests itself in numerous physical forms, or in certain forms of Mahayana or Vajrayana Buddhism. Maybe there's a cosmic Buddha, maybe Amida or Maitreya out there in a pure realm, and some kind of extra dimensional space that's emanating, and a whole load of different forms emanating bodhisattvas that sometimes take the form in different cultures of different things. There is a wonderful Mahayana Buddhist concept that the Buddha, a cosmic Buddha, can't remember which one, actually manifests himself among all these species of animals throughout the cosmos. So there is a Buddha among the fishes that will lead the fishes to salvation. So not just human-centered salvation here.
So, a multiplicity of divine expressions, a million masks of God or Buddha or reality.
Maybe Vishnu incarnates in various avatars. Maybe there's Krishna here, but he also incarnates as Jesus for the Jews, and as the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl for the Aztecs, and as Woden wandering in northern Europe. Whatever divine expression, there is a cosmic divine principle that manifests itself in a multiplicity of different ways to help bring us into liberation. That's fine. I like that. That really appeals to a kind of mythologist and religious pluralist like me. There you go. I said I would get mythology in here somehow, but that's not Orthodox Christianity. That's a Christianity I can get behind, but it's not Orthodox because it kind of takes away the uniqueness of Jesus Christ. Very few of these examples of the divine manifesting in the material world, in world religion and mythology, have admittedly the same kind of Christian unique spin of a being without sin, say a Jesus dying for the sins of others. Although that's not completely unique to Christianity. I think there's a Jewish sect that does this thing with a chicken where the sins are transferred onto a kosher bird, which is then sacrificed, dealing away with the sin. Kind of messianic poultry there. So another idea. Another way of kind of splitting Christianity would perhaps be a mystical way of looking at it, that Jesus Christ is an example to follow, and he achieved the thing. He achieved enlightenment, or Buddhahood, maybe to borrow a term from a different religion, and the various psychic powers that go along with that kind of attainment he could demonstrate. That then puts him in a line of enlightened beings throughout human civilization and throughout the cosmos, perhaps as well. Then it's not unique Christianity anymore. But I do maintain, if you are a Christian and want to maintain the uniqueness of Christianity, and salvation can only come through Jesus Christ, you've got to accept one of these four options. We're alone in the universe, or Jesus Christ is an alien, or alien civilizations are not fallen, or there's a multiplicity of divine incarnations out there in the cosmos, and Christianity is not unique. So which one of those four options, if you're an Orthodox Christian, which one of those four options do you think is the most likely? I'm trying to think if I've exhausted all the opportunities. Let me know if not. I think there's two other things that a Christian might say. They might say there's a plan. God has a plan for them if they are there. God has a plan. This isn't really satisfactory to me. What plan? Well, what is it? It's got to be one of the other. It's got to be one of those options. The other one, I suppose, is to say they're already damned. All life in the cosmos and all people who were born before Jesus, they're damned already. It seems a bit problematic, that one, both morally. It sounds a bit repugnant. Can't really seem to square it with a good and divine creator. But also it seems to not make logical sense. It seems to contravene the idea of free will. If God already knows whether they're going to accept Jesus or not, so he's put all the no camp before the birth of Jesus or in alien civilizations. That seems to contradict free will, I think. Let me know what you think. The other possible answer often given to this question is there is perhaps a rapprochement with the divine, with God post-death. This is an option classically given by Christian apologists to answer for the prophets of God that died before Jesus, Adam and Moses and Abraham and all that lot, that happens in purgatory. In fact, I think it's sometimes called Abraham's purgatory, where there's a chance to recognize Jesus as the savior, or maybe this happens in the immediate moment post-death, which has some interesting kind of parallels with near-death experiences and going towards the white light. Thing is, though, is it going to be Jesus of Nazareth? Is it going to be the Druid of Galilee that appears in this purgatory or vision? Because that won't make sense to anyone born outside of the Jewish or Christian or Abrahamic faith, like an alien or some, Aztec tribe. Surely to them it would be a culturally appropriate vision, like Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, that'll be, Christ in disguise. In that case, it's not really Christ, is it? Or maybe it's just a kind of a cosmic sense, doesn't have any physical form at all. So we're back to one of the previous possibilities, I think. So it seems to be these four options. And are we alone in the universe? Yeah, you can totally take that option. It seems like it could be sort of contradicted at any moment when there's first contact, if there ever is. So it seems like risky to put your eggs in that basket, I think. Option 2, alien civilizations are not fallen, the C.S. Lewis argument. This seems silly. Maybe I can accept theologically that angels remain unfallen, except for the fallen ones, because they're spiritual beings. But a being composed of matter, that has desires, that needs to procreate and eat and feed to survive, there seems to be greed, hatred, and delusion must be inherent in any being that is incarnate in the physical world, surely. So we can't have unfallen physical entities, in my opinion. Option 3, Jesus is an alien. This is silly. This is a silly. This is a non-serious suggestion that the human Jesus Christ would be the saviour for alien civilizations. I think that's a non-starter. I only list it as a joke to get clicks. It's got to be 4, in my opinion. It's got to be 4. Christianity is not unique. It's just one expression of a universal divine expression. So, which of these 4 options, if you're a Christian or if you're a non-Christian, what do you what do you think? What do you think about kind of alien messiahs? My own position, I think I would probably look at Christianity. I would probably take a mystical view of Christianity. I would look at the model of Jesus, someone showing the way rather than a object to be worshipped and the mechanism for salvation itself.
I think that's a view of Christianity supported by history as well, isn't it? A lot of these orthodox views only really became cemented by the Council of Nicaea in sort of 324 of the Common Era and afterwards. So in the early days of Christianity, the Desert Fathers and Celtic Christianity, there are all sorts of more mystical and esoteric ways of looking at Christianity, perhaps believing in rebirth and that others could drink from the river of Christhood just as Christ had. So it's a mystical path rather than a kind of top-down, salvific, devotional path. Anyway, depends what kind of Christianity, if any, interests you, I suppose.
So, my friends, that is the end of the video. A bit of a different one. If you're a regular viewer and you've made it this far, do you want me to make more strange theological content like this, or shall I go back to making folklore and mythology? If you are interested in the concept of aliens and extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional beings, maybe I'll put a video there about that. But Christians, Orthodox Christians, tell me if I'm wrong and how I'm wrong. I'm interested in a debate with you.
I don't think I have that many Orthodox Christian viewers, so I'd like to get this video out there as a means to kind of spark debate. And if anyone's found this video offensive, that really wasn't my intent at all. I just like exploring theological and metaphysical options. So please whack a comment there, give this video a like, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.